Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our launching of our new back office service, ValueEdge. My name is Tenille Hazy. I am the Acting Director of the UCC Business Development Consulting Institute. And with me, we have Mr. Nugent, Shakira Monroe, Aisha Richards, and I think that's it. We have to apologize because one of our speakers were not able to join, but we will still be able to discuss why and how important financial statements are for the growth of your business. So we'll begin by introducing the UCC. We are also going to look at the product that we're launching, that is ValueEdge, and then we are going to look at some of the services that we provide, which is we are an affiliated financial institute with DBJ. So let's begin. Just a context in terms of what UCC Business Development and Consulting Institute does. So we live in an ever-changing environment. And so before there was 9/11, we would always talk about the recession. And so things continue to change, and we aren't able to say post-COVID yet, but because of COVID, the way how we do business has changed. COVID has affected our buying habits and the way the general population spends their money. What we would have been the expectation before is no longer the same. So in this dynamic period, the word pivot has become a part of our business language. We have been forced to adjust our lives and how we do business to adapt to the new realities and to ensure sustainability. At UCC BDCI, we have made it our business to help businesses to transform. When anyone asks me what it is that I do across the dining table, I say, well, I'm in the business of helping businesses. So we are dedicated to helping launch entrepreneurs of micro, small, medium enterprises who are seeking to bring innovation to market, enabling our clients to capitalize on business opportunities. We aspire to be known as a premier business development organization in Jamaica and by extension, the Caribbean, contributing to the creation of a globally competitive platform for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. About UCC BDCI. We are an operational unit within the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean and a member of JBDC, which is the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, Small Business Development Center Network. We are a DBJ approved business development organization for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, and vouchers for technical assistance through the DBJ can be redeemed at our office. Our mission at BDCI was established to provide business advisory and consulting services to entrepreneurs and existing businesses. Our focus is on the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Our goal is to contribute to create impacts that support economic growth through fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. UCC's BDCI is a registered business development organization affiliated with the Development Bank of Jamaica and offers facilities such as technical assistant vouchers that help MSMEs access business advising and training services. We will discuss that in depth a lot later in the program. Our target clients include Tier 1 clients. These are persons that haven't created a business yet. So they have an idea, they want to create a business, but they don't know what the steps are. Then we have the tier 2 clients in early stage of business venture. Those are the persons that have been registered. They have their ID, they have their name, but they may have started, but they can't fathom what the next stages are, or they have problems with, say, their marketing, or they haven't created a business plan. And so we try to get them to the next step, which is tier 3, establishing a business venture. And so these are what we would call the gazelles. Those are the ones that are in need of expansion and need technical services. The services we offer. So all of this can be found on our website, but I'm just going to run through them. Services we offer are business advisory, business consulting, training and development, research, e-commerce packages, and back office services. Our services include evaluation of the business idea, business model assessment, technical advice, digital solution strategies, legal advisory, setting up of a company, partnering strategies, corporate governance. In terms of business consulting, we offer website development, e-commerce platforms, marketing plans, business plans, financial plans, and projections. The idea is because we are a business school as well as a school that, well, we also will be considered somewhat a law school. Our focus is around business as well as law, right? We offer training and development services, writing a business plan, understanding financial statements, business communications, digital marketing. All of these are services we offer. This is an e-commerce package that we have created, and the prices of this is found on the website. We are also a certified business advisor. So Growth Wheel is a visual toolbox and online platform used by business advisors, SBDCs, incubators, and entrepreneurs. We also have back office services, and the one that we're going to speak about today in depth is the ValueEdge project. The other back office service that we have is called Legal Bloom, where we help, for example, the tier 1 clients to become formalized, as well as give them legal advice. We also offer research. The research effort has 3 elements: research to support data and information for business advising, research to support commercialization, and policy-oriented research. And if you want to contact us, this is our information here. And I'm sure some of you would have contacted us before. So now I'm going to ask Aisha to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Reginald Nugent.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aisha Richards. So Mr. Reginald Nugent, he served as the director of UCC Business Development and Consulting Institute. As the founding director, he was responsible for providing leadership and overall strategic direction of the organization, formulating strategic plans, programs, projects, and leading the implementation of its operational initiatives. Prior to joining the UCC BDCI, Mr. Nugent advised several startup ventures locally and overseas. He served as the senior policy advisor to the Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce of Jamaica from 2012 to 2016. And from 2010 to 2012, he headed the School of Business Administration, University of Technology, Jamaica. Additionally, he co-founded Transcell Limited, which is a Jamaican-based mobile technology venture, as the CFO. Mr. Nugent's experience abroad includes being the co-founder and the chief financial officer of Isadra Inc., a Silicon Valley software company successfully acquired in 1999 for $50 million US. Subsequently, joining the California State Polytechnic University, Pomona, where he served as an adjunct lecturer and director for the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. That was from 2001 to 2005. Mr. Nugent was founding managing director for Capital West Advisors, a business plan development and capital raising firm based in Beverly Hills, California. His experience also includes 10 years in the transportation and municipal finance field at the San Francisco Bay Area's Metropolitan Transportation Commission and Oakland and Berkeley in California. Other academic appointments include adjunct faculty at the Mona School of Business Management, UA, from 2018 to 2019, and UCC from 2018 to present. Mr. Nugent was a PhD candidate at the Stanford University in Applied Economics and holds an MSc in Economics from the London School of Economics, UK, as well as an MSc and Bachelor's in Economics from the University of the West Indies. He currently acts as a consultant/advisor to the UCC BDCI. We welcome Mr. Nugent.
Thank you very much, Ms. Richards. That was a long introduction. I apologize to our attendees for that. And let me join the team at BDCI in welcome you to this webinar. The fact that you have taken the steps to come and spend time with us only signify your interest in making sure that your business is on a proper financial management footing. And so we applaud you for that. I don't want to take up much time. I want to try and at least share with you a little bit about the BDCI ValueEdge service and how it can be used to support the operations of the MSMEs in trying to manage their financial operations. So let me get right into it. And just to say that there's a context for looking at the ValueEdge services. And so what the context consists of is really understanding why accounting and financial management is absolutely essential to businesses, and also to look at a few of the key elements of financial management. So I'll spend a little time just to go over that context, and then I will transition into a discussion of the ValueEdge service, to essentially talk about why it was established, how it works, and how to become involved with the service. Let me just say from the onset that, based on the research that has been conducted, and, a lot of this information is from the US and other parts of other jurisdictions, but pretty much, these figures apply generally. It states that 80% of business fail because of poor financial management, and we can get into what that means later on. And so what it means, therefore, is that, putting together a proper financial plan in place is really the first step to set up a proper financial management system, and that can certainly assist in reducing the risk of failure, right? And so it begs the question, therefore, as to what exactly goes into creating an effective financial management system. And so just to look at the overall function of financial management, I just want to identify, and these are not the entire aspects involved in it. I also want to identify 3 different components of what is involved in having a proper financial management system. And just to be clear, when we use the term accounting as opposed to finance, we are talking about a relationship between looking at the past, right, and looking at the future, because it means that finance deals with the future and accounting deals with the past. Accounting is about taking stock of what has transpired over time in the past so that you can exactly know where you are. Because if you do not know where you are, you cannot reasonably know where you can go or really how to get there. So I just want to make that clarification that accounting is about historical facts, and finance is really about taking historical facts and translate them into the future to look at opportunities and how to generate cash flows. That said, I just wanted to continue with the conversation regarding what I regard as three important elements of a proper financial management system. In the first instance, you must have a proper budgeting system, right? Basically, this is a system that allows you to identify and to put a discipline on your spending, right? You must know exactly what is it that your business requires, and therefore, what is it that needs to be allocated, right? What resources you need to allocate to support those aspects, those activities in your business. And that's what budgeting is about. It imposes a certain level of discipline, all right, on your operation. Now, once you have a budget in place and you start to spend, right, you start to spend the budget, whether it's an operating budget or a capital budget, you want to make sure that you are keeping track of the spending. And so that's where bookkeeping and accounting comes into play. You want to be able to set up your books, which is your accounting books. Can be a manual system, but of course, in this day and age, we talk about electronic system. And really, what it does is provide a way to track all the financial transactions that occur across your business, right? Some businesses can be quite simple, some more complex. Regardless of that, the fundamental principle is that you are setting up, the company books to ensure that that system is in place. By the way, I guess the questions and answers will be at the end. I guess I'm not sure, but it just occurred to me that that wasn't mentioned. In any event, just to continue. So you want to track your financial transactions in order to basically see how you're doing. The third area that comes into play is really the area involving financial planning and analysis, which means that once you're able to see what the past is, what the transaction is, what the performance have been, then you can take the data, take the information, right, from your accounting and bookkeeping system and use it to guide your planning. So what you want to do, you want to go forward, right? So you want to be able to plan your budget for the future, right? And you want to be able to forecast the resources that you're going to need, right? You want to be able to prepare what we call forward-looking statements and reports. So these are three critical elements that comes into play in your financial management system. Now, today, for example, the focus of our discussion is on the second one, which is really about bookkeeping and accounting, right? We cannot do anything that makes sense with our business unless we have proper way of tracking the financial transactions, okay? So when we're talking about accounting and financial management, what we're simply saying is that we have to have a system in place that allows us to basically exercise effective running of the business operation. In this environment in which we operate, there are certain requirements that we must comply with. There are requirements that are imposed by laws and regulations, and therefore, one of the things that we have to pay attention to is statutory compliance and governance. We have to make sure that we can track our taxes, whether it's payroll-related taxes or GCT taxes or any other taxes. If you have permits, for example, and you have to pay permit fees, you have to be able to track these things. And the best way to do that is to have a proper accounting system. So you want to be able to support statutory compliance and governance. You want to be able to also conduct performance management. You want to manage your performance. And to do that, you need to have the data that can illustrate and demonstrate how the company has been performing from one period to the next, right? Is it the case that your rate of profit is dropping? Are your margins narrowing? Is it that your expenses are growing too fast? Is it that your revenues are growing too fast in the sense that you're not able to manage the growth that's taking place in your company, right? All of these things can be discerned by having in place a proper accounting system. You want to be able to make prudent decisions regarding the use of resources. And so therefore, your accounting system can allow you to determine the best use of your resources in terms of your overall goal of maximizing returns on your investments. And so again, you can only tell how your resources are being used, whether they're being used effectively in one area or another, by having in place a proper accounting system. And of course, this leads us to the question of having effective management and control over your financial operations. For example, you have effective management and control over your cost, right? Effective management and control over your budgets. Are you spending too much, right? Are projects taking much longer to complete, and the costs are, you have cost overruns, right? The other area that it's supported is really in the area of making sure you have proper financing strategies. So for example, your company is growing and you're doing well, or you want to start up your company. Either way, you need to have proper accounting system that can allow you to determine what exactly is happening in terms of the cost, right? The cost of capital, right? What is it that's happening with debt financing instruments in terms of interest rate costs, etc. You can only be able to assess, right, what's optimal in terms of your financing structures. So you do need your accounting system in order to give you that information. But unfortunately, what happens is that there's a large number of MSMEs that cannot afford to hire full-time accounting staff, right? Despite the fact that the owners are well aware of the benefits of having a proper accounting system. Ultimately, what you're seeking to do at the end of the day is to be able to generate the 3 critical financial statements for your business, because these financial statements are required if you're going to go out to seek financing partner, whether the financing partners consist of the banks or individual investors, or whether you're seeking supply relationships with companies that are seeking to buy from you. They want to make sure that you have a business that is stable and sustainable over time. So they want to get a sense of what your financial statements look like, both in terms of your past and also forecasted financial statements. You must have a basis to report accurately how your business is performing. And these 3 statements are ultimately what's required if you're going to go to a bank to seek funding. Doesn't matter how little the funding, they always want to see that you are in fact demonstrating some accountability in terms of how resources are flowing through your business and how you are performing with respect to the business opportunities for which you have been established to pursue. So those are 3 important outcomes, right, of having in place a proper accounting system. The business of financial planning and forecasting is absolutely essential. And of course, you want to be able to look at activities, forward-looking activities, and set goals, right? But the only way to do that is if you can actually establish what is it that's going to cost to implement these activities, and what are realistic goals that you need to put in place. You need to also plan for working capital. So if you're involved in the manufacturing, of products and you're expanding, you're forecasting to expand and grow your business, you want to make sure that you have enough resources that can support raw materials and other expenditures that fall on the working capital, working capital category. You want to be able to put in place a proper working capital strategy. And to do that, you have to conduct your planning and forecasting. You want to also forecast your future cash flows. Let me say that this is very important because when you're actually growing and expanding, right? When your company is expanding, especially if you're in a business where your customers pay you on credit, it means that your account receivable is going to grow rapidly and eats up your cash. So although you might be very profitable, although you have a very profitable business, you may have problems meeting your current obligations. So you want to make sure that your cash flows are sustainable over time. And overall, planning and forecasting allow you to set proper financing strategies and goals going forward. So this leads to the question of ValueEdge, because what it is that the BDCI recognized from its interaction with many MSMEs that while there is the need to have this type of service, right, where you actually can establish the wherewithal for business to manage their financial operations more effectively, that many business and business owners just thought that they couldn't afford to, in fact, invest in this area. And so we established what we call ValueEdge, right, which is really the foundation, the first stage of evolution of a integrated financial management system. And so what it is currently is it's a bookkeeping and accounting service, and it really represents the first step or the foundation for a company to establish proper financial planning and management system. And what it is really is that it's designed to put in place strategies that can really help you to have effective control over your financial operations. So ValueEdge was established to provide MSMEs with the capabilities so that they can improve accounting and financial management practices, right? They can do proper budgeting, which means, as I said earlier, exercise a certain level of discipline over the use of resources. They can maintain greater control over the performance of their business, in as much as, for example, they are able to control costs. If they discern that raw materials are increasing in cost, they can look to see if they can find another vendor or substitute some other raw material or find some other way to manage this challenge. But they must have in place a system that will allow them to make this determination. So companies want to grow, and therefore they want to also control their cost, and having in place a financial management system is the best way to guide them in terms of the decisions they need to make to basically plan the future growth and expansion of the business. So that's really why ValueEdge was established, because it does provide these benefits to businesses. Now, of course, we recognize that many business owners, they sometimes are not comfortable with having a third party, an outsourced party, I should say, perform these services. So, essentially they struggle with financial management, which is not really an effective use of their time, so that the time that they're spending to do the financial administration and the accounting work, rather they should spend the time dealing with the core of their business, which is really about their customers and their clients and quality management. To grow the business, you want to grow the number of clients and the quality of your clients, and therefore look at the opportunity cost of the business owners getting involved in the details of accounting is not really an effective use of their time. The opportunity cost is great. So in fact, it's not just a matter of they're thinking that they're saving, you know, on expenses, right? By not taking care of this function. But the reality is that they're trying to perform these tasks is not really the best way that they should utilize their time. They should focus on the core business. Core business is really two things. It's about markets, customers, and it's about the other operations in terms of delivering the service. Those are the key issues. The other supporting operations, like the accounting operations, those are not necessarily, you know, primary in terms of the long-term success of the business. Those functions can be outsourced to other parties. So that's why outsourced bookkeeping and accounting is a solution. We understand that, of course, this might not be something that some people are comfortable with, but the reality of the situation is that increasingly, when you outsource your accounting function, what you're doing really is that you're leveraging resources at a cheaper rate, right? You're effecting a partnering relationship with the provider of the accounting service, and they now will focus entirely on delivering that service so that you can actually focus your energies on getting your core business done. And so that is the idea of ValueEdge. It's about really taking that struggle off of you and being able to deliver the service on a professional basis. So, you know, essentially what ValueEdge is in terms of how it operates. We work with you to set up your financial and business accounts, right? Once you have set up your books, so to speak, we then perform accurate posting of transactions to your accounts on a monthly basis. And then we generate the critical management reports, right, to the manager so that they can see how the business is performing. So on a monthly basis, we generate your financial statements. And of course, they also involve the whole business of balancing the company books with banking transactions in terms of reconciliations of what happens from the banking side. So these are the key elements of what's involved, how it works. Continuing, we expect that once a customer is engaged, or at least indicate some interest in the service, we have a framework which involves a one-time fee that is involved in setting up the company books. And this is done in QuickBooks. You know, we're leading small business accounting software. So we use QuickBooks to set up the books of the company. We charge a monthly service fee to maintain the books, which means to gather all of the financial records and post them in QuickBooks so that the books is updated on a monthly basis. Now, in terms of the pricing strategy, we adhere to the principle that we want to be competitive, and also we want to be able to charge below market. So what happens is that the setup and monthly charges are largely dependent on the scale of operations of your business. So if your business generates a lot of transactions, it means therefore that our account managers will take a much longer time to process, to update your books. And therefore the charges will reflect the amount of time that it will take. The account managers themselves will actually engage in a consultation and make the assessment with the business owners, looking at the scope of work in order to determine the charges. And then a contract is prepared and sent to the business owners. Once a contract is signed and the account manager can then, the account manager can then commence the process of delivering the service. Right, so that's basically the broad guidelines as to how the service works.